Well, the last couple of days I have been talking about the various scenarios that will probably could possibly show up in the next few months or years that will allow the powers that be to concentrate their strength against ISIS. And I had indicated that there would be some type of umbrella agreement that would solve the Syrian problem and also many other problems around the world. Namely, Yemen would also incorporate Iran into the deal, the moderate Arab world, and also the Israeli-Palestinian issue. And I'd mentioned that there are two things that really need to be included once this agreement does come down, or at least very early into the tribulation period. Number one, Israel would have to be involved in this umbrella agreement in some way with the Palestinians. I had speculated that I believe that Israel and the Palestinians would have to agree on some type of two-state solution if, in fact, this umbrella agreement was to be successful. And now there is a Times of Israel article that is now surfaced. It's entitled, Jordan's King, Two-State Solution, Key to Defeating ISIS. And if you're like me, I don't see how there's any connection whatsoever in connecting the defeat of ISIS with Israel giving land and making peace with the Palestinians, but the world will buy it. And this is what the article says. A two-state solution to the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians is vital to the defeat of the Islamic State. King Abdullah of Jordan argued Friday, saying that the decades-long dispute only served to benefit the jihadist group. The community of nations cannot talk about universal rights and global justice, but continue to deny statehood to Palestinians, he told the Munich Security Conference, an annual gathering of foreign and defense policy leaders, referring to ISIS by an Arabic acronym. This failure has created a festering injustice and continues to be exploited by Daesh, or basically the Islamic State, and its kind, he said. Left unresolved, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict will become a religious conflict of a global dimension, and it is only a matter of time before we may be faced by yet another war in Gaza or in South Lebanon. This is why reaching a two-state solution should remain a priority for all of us, he said. Abdullah also met with Israel's defense minister on the sidelines of the conference for talks that focused in part on tensions surrounding Jerusalem's contested Temple Mount. In his address, Abdullah also called for international unity to combat Islamic State and its ilk, saying battling Islamist extremists was a third world war by other means. The king said that the Muslim world faced the greatest threat from ISIS and other terrorist organizations that have appeared across the globe, but stressed that it was a danger to the entire world and must be dealt with as such. We cannot succeed by focusing on uprooting Daesh from Syria or Iraq, while other terrorist groups and affiliates strengthen in Africa and Asia. It is time for a new level of global action, focusing our resources, coordinating our responsibilities, and synchronizing our military and security efforts. Our countries, our international institutions must work collectively as a truly global alliance, he said. You know, the funny thing about this whole situation is out of all the countries that are in conflict right now, such as the Ukraine and also Yemen and others in Africa, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and peace accord is what is brought to the forefront. And Ukraine, nor Yemen, nor North Korea, nor any other nation is called to the carpet except for Israel. Yes, tiny Israel, the size of New Jersey, is the key factor that will solve the ISIS problem. And it is this conflict and not the others that the world leaders will pay attention to in the end. You know, I was wondering how in the world that they were going to bring Israel into this peace with many, and now we have our answer. Now, certainly this is coming from a smaller Arab world country and from a king who's simply not all that powerful in the modern Arab world. But the fact that he got to speak at a very prestigious security conference in Munich speaks volumes as to how much weight he actually does have in the Middle East. So despite the fact that they've pulled this needle out of the haystack and blamed it on Israel, brings to the forefront the thing that the Bible says would be at the forefront, and that is Israel and the world being at peace with many, and also the Palestinians and Israel signing a peace accord that, like I said, will probably be a part of this 7 years, in which they will attempt to destroy ISIS, but at the same time I believe that Israel will have 7 years to get out of the West Bank and also to establish a Palestinian capital in East Jerusalem. And right now, as we speak, I have seen multiple intelligence reports and articles that indicate that nations from all over the world, the United States, the UN, the European Union, are sending their representatives to Israel to try to get this Palestinian-Israeli conflict solved. So now that Israel has basically unfroze their peace attempts with the European Union, I believe it'll now be full speed ahead. And let's not forget about the French mandate that if Israel does not come up with some type of peace accord, that they would automatically recognize Palestine as a state. So Israel definitely has a target on its back, and I hate to say it, but I have to believe that the United States is not too far behind. But frankly, I don't foresee that being the case where they will recognize them as a state under Barack Obama's tenure, especially in an election year. And someone sent me an article a number of weeks back, and they wanted to know what I thought about it. It was basically an article that indicated that President Barack Obama's next stop was going to be to head up the UN, and he wanted to know how I felt about that. And I told him the truth. The bottom line is that there's no way Barack Obama will ever be UN chief. And the simple fact of the matter is that the reason that he won't be is because there's no way he would ever get confirmed. You have to know how these individuals are picked. And the person who will be picked to be the next leader of the UN will be somebody who must be confirmed by all 5 permanent members. And I've already seen the list of the candidates that are being recommended, and he's not on the list. And secondly, there's no way that China nor Russia is going to confirm Barack Obama as the next UN chief. So there you go right there. It has to be unanimous. All 5 will have to agree. And someone had mentioned that, Mr. Netanyahu had made a statement regarding what would he think about Barack Obama being the next head of the UN. And certainly he made a comment, said it would be disastrous for Israel, but he wasn't saying it because he actually believed it would happen. He understands that Barack Obama's chances of being confirmed by all 5 permanent members in the UN are about as good as his chances of being confirmed. In other words, it simply ain't going to happen. But one thing I would certainly be concentrating on is this upcoming peace push that is going on at this very moment. I just read an article that said that we are coming to the last stages, and that the peace process in Israel with the Palestinians is simply dying. So I have to believe that something has to happen in the near future. There's no such thing, at least I believe there's no such thing, that this process is going to continue to go to fall asleep and then come back to life. I really believe that if Israel does not do something soon, that this process will be dead, and the world will one by one assassinate Israel by recognizing Palestine as a state. And the final nail in the coffin would be the United States would do the same. And I just want to say that right now a lot of things are happening at the same time that are very scary, should I say, in the world of Bible prophecy. And if you don't know the Lord, I would make that decision very quick. As I've said many times, that 150,000 people die every single day. The Bible says that the vast majority will end up in a burning hell. Don't let that happen to you. Come to the Lord today. Ask Him to save you. And you Christians, people who are going to go through the tribulation period. Get them a copy of my Tribulation Period Survival Guide. The free copy, click on the upper left-hand corner and get the free copy. If you're looking for a paperback version, go down to the description and click on that link, and that'll take you to get that particular copy. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.